No more Windows, no more MacBooks. I'm replacing everything with Linux. And I'm gonna force all my employees to do this. And not just that, I'm gonna make them all use one computer. But first, are you guys cool with this?
That's not fair. You're my friend.
All right, maybe it's gonna take some convincing, but let me show you what I'm doing. You see this computer right here? This is our insanely powerful render machine. We use this to render and edit videos, live stream, but we have a big problem with this sucker. It's running Windows 11. Just another example of Windows taking over my office, and I'm tired of it. Because honestly, this PC is powerful enough for 5 people to use it at one time. But with Windows 11, we can't do that. But with Linux, we can. So in this video, I'm turning this machine into a Linux terminal server. This is gonna break your brain and blow your mind. Get your coffee ready, and let's force everyone to use Linux. Now before we do anything crazy, let's break down what terminal services actually means, because it's not a new idea. I've actually used this for a long time in my professional career. Now first, let's talk about a PC, a normal PC, and it's actually the way our render machine works right now. You come to it, you sit down, and you edit on it, or you render on it. In fact, one of our new editors, Isaac, is probably on this right now. Now here we have a big problem, because Alex is about to record some things for this video we're making right now, actually. And he needs that computer to record. But Alex can't use it because Isaac is using it because you can only use one computer at one time. And that's not the only problem, because we have Florida Nick. And Florida Nick is always trying to use what's called remote desktop to log into this machine and render his edits. Now this is cool for Nick because he can remotely access another desktop and have it start rendering videos while he can keep editing on his main machine. He's just trying to be more productive. Go Florida Nick. But he can't be because Isaac won't get off the computer. Isaac, get off. And then Mike, one of our other video editors, he's trying to use a computer to do some Blender stuff and make 3D models. But he can't because Isaac won't stinking get off. What is he even doing on that? I don't know. So in an ideal world, all of them would be able to use that computer at the same time, and that's what terminal services does. Now first, we're gonna get Isaac off this computer. He's not gonna sit in front of it anymore. We're gonna treat that computer more like a server. So we get all the people who wanna use this computer, and we'll give them what's called a thin client. This can literally be any computer, but the goal here is to get something low powered. So it could be a Raspberry Pi. Now these Raspberry Pis are not powerful, but it doesn't matter. All they're gonna use those Raspberry Pis for is to remotely access this one insanely powerful server. Now with a regular PC, you can't do that. Only one user can be logged in at a time. But with a terminal server, it'll create a little unique session for each user, and they can all share the resources at the same time. Now again, this idea is not new. Windows Server has had this for a long time. It's called Windows Terminal Services, but it's kind of crazy expensive because you have to buy Windows Server and then a bunch of licenses for the terminal server stuff. I remember paying for it and it hurt. It really hurt. I think right now just 5 users will cost you $1,000. But in this video, we're not doing Windows, we're doing Linux because it's free. Yes, you can do Linux terminal services for free thanks to our sponsor,
Sendio.
Before they reached out, I had no idea this was possible, but you can deploy a Linux terminal server for free with up to 10 users on a server. So that's the plan for this video. I'm gonna get my entire team on Linux on one computer, an insanely powerful computer, and it doesn't matter what hardware they have locally. They can use Raspberry Pi because they're gonna be remotely accessing another computer that can do whatever they're wanting to do. Whether it's Mike doing 3D modeling with Blender, Florida Nick doing some rendering or editing, and whatever the heck Alex and Isaac are doing. And again, this is free. And I'll probably end up setting this up for my kids too, because honestly, this is just too cool and it's a fun project. So follow along, I'm gonna show you how to do it, both from the server side, setting things up, and then setting up the client side. So what do you need? Well, for the Linux terminal server, the big beefy thing you're gonna log into, first, it's gotta be x86, the CPU. No ARM devices, so think like, I'm like forgetting the name, a Raspberry Pi. And you'll need all this software installed, which we'll walk you through. But the big question is, how much hardware do you need? How much RAM? What kind of CPU? That's gonna depend. It depends on things like the number of users, the application mix. So are you doing 3D modeling, video editing, or just word processing? That's gonna matter. Now for storage, ThinLinc itself will take up about 100 megabytes, so nothing. And then each user profile will be about 100 kilobytes. But that's just ThinLinc. Whatever you're doing with applications or user storage, it'll be multiplied per each user. CPU, same story. ThinLinc estimates that if you're running a full desktop environment, KDE or no, with a bunch of random, typical applications, you'll need about 150 to 300 megahertz per active user. And then for memory, for a full desktop, doing basic stuff, they say about 100 to 200 megabytes of memory. That's bare minimum. If you're doing anything crazy above the ordinary, plan accordingly. Now for the client, you can use whatever you want. It could be Windows, Mac OS, Linux. They do even make specific thin terminals. You may have seen these at like Taco Bell or doctor's offices and stuff. And you don't need a lot to run these. Again, it could be a Raspberry Pi.
All right, so I'm set up at the render machine and it's officially running Linux. We have it running Ubuntu 20.04. So let's go ahead and install ThinLinc. First thing you're gonna wanna do is open up your web browser and go to Sendio.com. Now I'm going to click download and choose for administrators. Perfect. I'm just going to click this gigantic download button right in the middle of the screen. And I'm going to put in some of my information here. And let's see if I can solve this CAPTCHA. Please select the 2 trucks. You need to click on each truck. Okay. Pretty easy. All right, and I'm going to click download now. Cool, it's finished downloading, so I'm going to open up that folder, and I'm going to right click on this zip and just do extract to, and I'm going to pick the folder I want to extract it to. I'll just create a new folder, call it ThinLinc install. Why not? Perfect, it's extracted. I'm going to delete the zip file and go to that new folder I created. Perfect, so here's that extracted folder. Let's go inside, see what we got. Okay, so what I'm really interested in here is this little install server file. So I'm going to right click and choose open in terminal, and I'm going to run this with sh./install server. Cool, so depending on what type of Linux setup you have, you might see a nice little window pop up here, but mine just fell back on the text mode, which is just as good. Oh, and it's saying I'm going to need sudo authorization, so let me just put in my password here. Cool. So now I can go through this install, and it's going to be pretty straightforward and easy. And for the most part, I'm just going to use the default settings. So it says, please select the type of ThinLinc server to configure. And it gives me an option between master and agent. So since this is my first ThinLinc setup, I'm going to choose master. But one of the really cool things about ThinLinc is that you can set up multiple agent servers to support your master server. You'll have to check the documentation on that. In this video, we're just going to set up one master server because that's all we really need. And I'm just going to keep going through these default settings here. Man, I'm getting kind of thirsty. Maybe I should have grabbed a Pepsi before this. Okay, this is actually really cool. It's one of my favorite parts of ThinLinc, the web administration feature. So Chuck is going to show you this later in the video, but it's actually asking me to set up the password right now. So I'm going to have to message Chuck about what this password is. All right, and here's another important thing you might notice near the end of your install. It says you do not seem to have access to ThinLinc commands in your sudo path. This can be a little bit annoying. I'll show you how to fix that in just 1 second. So ThinLinc is officially up and running on our system. We can connect to this if we wanted to. But first, let's fix this little sudo path problem. So I'm going to clear my terminal, and I'm going to type in the command sudo bisudo. Bisudo, I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. And I'm going to edit this file just a little bit. I'm going to go down to this secure path string, go to the very end, and I'm going to add 2 more paths. So the first one, I'll just do :/opt/thinlink/bin. And then the next one, I'll do a colon. Very similar, just /opt/thinlink/sbin. And that's it. So I'm going to do Control-X, Y, Enter. And now we should be able to access our ThinLinc commands directly. Now we're all ready to set up our user accounts.
All right, now that Alex is done setting up the server, I'm gonna go in here and add all my employees. Create a user account for them, Linux style. Using the command add user with a little sudo action, I'll add Austin, Mac, Isaac. This is so much easier than Windows. Now, in case you're wondering, yes, you can use LDAP to centralize your user creation and management, especially if you have a large amount of users. Now, what I love about this, if you refer to the ThinLinc Administrator's Guide, you can lock down a lot of what your users can do. I mean, look at all these options. And we'll also give sudo access to the Alex user by modifying his user account. Command will be sudo user mod, and we're gonna add him to the sudo group with the -a G switch, which will add him to this group while keeping all his existing groups intact. So we'll say the group sudo and the username Alex.
All right, now that we've got our user account set up, let's install ThinLinc on the client side or user side. And this is extremely fast. First, I'm gonna open up my web browser and go to sendio.com. Then I'm gonna click on download for users and choose my operating system. Now I'm running Windows, but all the operating systems should install pretty much the same. If you're having any problems, there are install instructions right here on this little link. You can see we've got Mac OS, we've got Windows instructions, we've got Linux PC instructions, whatever you need. But I'm using Windows and the download's already finished, so let's open it up. All right, and you can see it's pretty much just a basic install wizard. So I'm just gonna go through it, accept the license agreement, and install. I'll click finish, and here we go. All right, so this is ThinLinc client. Under server, I'm gonna type in the IP address of the room of requirement PC. And then next up is the username. Now it autofilled Alex. I guess because my username on this laptop is Alex, but that happens to be correct. So I'm gonna keep that. and then type in my password. And again, I'm logging into the user account that was set up for me on the ThinLinc server. So let's go ahead and click connect. All right, it's gonna ask me a little question here. I'm just gonna click continue. And there we go. All right, ThinLinc is up and running. It's just setting up my profile. Okay, it's just gonna be the basic Ubuntu thing. Skip all this. No, I don't wanna share my data. And finish. Cool, so here we are. I'm up and running on ThinLinc on my user account. I've got all my own folders, my whole session running on its own. This is pretty freaking sweet. Okay, we finished installing ThinLinc on the server side and client side. Now I'm gonna show you how to install one last thing. It's called VirtualGL, and this will give us server-side hardware acceleration to everything running on our remote clients. Because we wanna have access to our server's super powerful GPU when we're video editing or 3D modeling. I'll show you just how big of a difference it makes, just wait. All right, first things first, I'm gonna open up my web browser and search VirtualGL. And I'm gonna scroll down until I find a GitHub link. Here it is, releases. And we'll have links to this down below. And I'm gonna scroll all the way down to the assets. Now you're gonna see a bunch of different options here. In fact, you can click show all, and there's even more options. So you're gonna wanna pick the right version for your Linux distribution. So if we scroll up a little bit, they actually do have a user guide here. And if we just choose section number 5, then there's a whole guide on which version you need to get. So I'm going to pick this one, and I'll open this up, close this out, and I'm gonna go ahead and right click and choose open in terminal. Now to install VirtualGL, you are gonna have to log in as root. So I'll do sudo su dash, put in my password, and then as root, I'm gonna need to use cd to get back into my downloads folder. So that'll be home, username, and downloads. Cool, there it is. And to install VirtualGL, I'll just use the command dpkg-i and the name of the file. And I can just do an *.deb, and it's installing. Okay, cool. That took like literally 5 seconds. And now we just need to configure our Linux machine to run as a VirtualGL server. Okay, let me show you how to do that. So first things first, I don't want to be in this graphical environment. So I'm going to close these out, and I'm going to do a little command, Control-Alt-F3. And we're going to go ahead and log into our machine again. So I'm going to type in my username and my password. Perfect. Okay, so first things first, we want to shut down our display manager. Now this is going to be different for different systems, so check the documentation on this. Links in the description, of course. But for me, on this Ubuntu system, it's just going to be etc init.d, and then I believe it is gdm3, and I'll type in stop. Perfect. So it is just shut down, and I can no longer do anything. So it's time to get out my laptop again. And I'm gonna have to finish this installation through SSH. So get your laptop out and go ahead and open up your terminal. Let me make this a bit bigger here. Whoa, whoa. And we're gonna SSH into the IP address of our ThinLinc server. So mine is 1077.14.144, I hope. Oh, and I'll need my username here at the front. Perfect, so I'll hit enter, type in my password, and we are in. Oh, and I will still need to be logged in as root, so I'll actually just switch to root real fast. I almost forgot. So sudo su dash, and type in my password again. Cool, we're now set up as root. So to set up our machine as a VirtualGL server, I'm just gonna run this command. It'll be in /opt/virtualgl, make sure you have the caps there, /bin /vgl server _config. Okay, I think I got that right. Let's hit enter. Perfect. So there's a few options here. I'm just gonna do option number 1, hit enter. And I'm gonna do all the default settings, just hit enter a few times. Perfect. And I'm gonna type X to exit. Now, if you did all the defaults like me, then you actually did restrict your server to the VGL users group. So we gotta add ourselves to that group real fast. We'll just do nano etc/group, and it'll be at the very, very, very bottom. Whew, there it is. Okay, VGL users. So first of all, I'm just gonna add root, of course, and then I'm gonna type colon and add my username, Alex. And I'm also gonna add in another username. We'll do the room of requirement user, and you can add in all the usernames you want here. Control X, Y, enter. And we're done. Let's go ahead and restart our display manager. So for me, that was in etc init.d, gdm3, and I'll do start. Perfect, and I should see things start working again. Here we go. So I'm all done with this. I'm just gonna exit. Cool. All right, so now VirtualGL is all up and running. Let's go test it out on ThinLinc. All right, so here I am on my ThinLinc server. Let's open up terminal and see if we can get this to work. So the first thing I'm gonna do is cd into the directory /opt/virtualgl/bin. And if I just ls in here, you'll see there's a bunch of different programs. I'm interested in this one right here, GLX Spheres 64. So first, let's run that without using any kind of VirtualGL at all. So I'll just do /GLX Spheres 64. All right, so this is what the program looks like. You can see we're running at about 128 frames per second. And okay, that's pretty good. But if you look up here, our OpenGL renderer is LLVM pipe. That's bad. That is a software renderer. So we're actually using the CPU for the graphic acceleration. We don't want that, right? We want to use our NVIDIA 4090 GPU. So let's use VirtualGL. So it's pretty simple. I'll just type in VGL run and then whatever program I want to use. So GLX Spheres 64. Let's try it out. Oh, look at that. This is the power of using the GPU from your server. Wow. Okay, so we are rocking. Let's see. We got 1,000 frames a second. Okay, yeah, pretty good numbers, I'd say. Pretty good numbers. All right, so hopefully you can see why VirtualGL is so powerful. Now that we've got everything set up, I'm gonna go have the team try it out. Come with me to the editor room. All right, this is one of our video editors, Mike. Mike, come with me to Studio B.
What for?
We're gonna do some Blender, man.
I like Blender.
All right, Mike, I know we normally have you use Blender on that PC right there.
You're right.
But today, we're gonna have you do it on this little Raspberry Pi.
Alex, are you insane? That's a piece of garbage. How am I supposed to use that?
This guy does not know what terminal servers are. Anyway, you ready? All right, so here is our ThinLinc client. I'm just gonna click connect for you.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. All right, Mike, so now we are connected to that PC through the Raspberry Pi. Do you understand what this means?
No.
Well, you're about to. All right, so try this out, Mike. See how Blender runs on this Raspberry Pi.
Hey, I mean, this is actually doing stuff, and this Pi has like no RAM, and I would usually want a lot more for something like this, so.
Yeah, right?
That's good.
All right, Mike, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have you blend something that we can 3D print at the end of the video.
All right.
So, got any ideas?
Kokey.
What?
Kokey.
Did somebody mention Kokey? Okay, so Mike wanted to model Kokey, which I looked it up. Apparently, it's this 1997 Filipino science fiction film. Basically a knockoff version of E.T. But the cool part is we actually have somebody from the Philippines on our marketing team. His name's Jayus, and I called him up for a little interview.
Well, there's not much to share about who Kokey is, because it's all about this green alien creature whose spaceship crashed onto planet Earth, and then these two children discovered that the crashed spacecraft on the forest, and then they discovered Kokey wounded and all that, after which Kokey told these two children about this main antagonist whose name is Korokoy. Korokoy looks a bit villainous, and he's not looking that innocent like Kokey. So Korokoy's mission is to eliminate Kokey, and I'm even excited about the prospect of even introducing Kokey to this new video that we're coming up. So I think many Filipino fans, including my cousin, would even be, would even be surprised that you guys know about Kokey.
Leave Jayus some love in the comments. He was super excited to help us out with this project. But okay, now that we know about Kokey, let's go back to Mike and see how he's doing on the model. Mike, how you doing? Oh my gosh.
I've been modeling it after this Kokey, the one here on the side.
Okay.
This is the Kokey I'm going after.
Are you gonna do the hood?
You'll see.
Okay. Okay, little mystery. All right, well, I guess I'll let you get back to it. I'll come back whenever it's finished.
All right. Bye.
Now remember, while Mike is working on Kokey, Florida Nick is editing on the exact same computer. And that's the power of ThinLinc. You don't need to buy a bunch of super powerful computers, you just need to buy one. Now let's go back to Chuck, who's gonna show you a super sweet admin tool that lets you get control over all of your different ThinLinc sessions.
Okay, the ThinLinc server is set up and running, and right now Mike is using it. He's creating something in Blender, and right now Florida Nick is editing something. I'm gonna spy on them. Yes, you can spy on them. Check this out. I'm gonna go to the IP address of the server in my browser and log in with the credentials. It's actually pretty nice. I like the art style. All right, we can view system health. We can look up users. Let me see. Alex. Oh, it worked. Let me see if I can find Bernard. This is not a real user. What will happen? Failed. Okay, that's fun. Status, licenses, system load. Let's go to show load details. So we can monitor everything. That's pretty cool. Let me go back. And of course, sessions. I can see that right now Mike is connected. Let me jump in there. So I can see all the information, including terminating the session, which is pretty cool. Get out of there. And I can also shadow a session. And you can do it here from the browser, but I want to show you through the client I can download. I like that better. Now check this out. I also have a desktop customizer. With this, I can control whatever my users can do, defining groups and applications, and if they can access those applications. That's pretty sick. I kind of love this. I can even control the menus and what they're allowed to see. Now let's get to shadowing. Now I know at first it's like, okay, you can look at what people are doing. That's kind of weird. Who can do that? You can control that. If we go to VSM in the menu here and go to master and scroll down a little bit, we can control allowed shadowers. So I might put Alex in there. And now Alex, the user account on the system, can shadow. And click on save. Let's test it out now. I'm gonna download the client and install it real quick. Easy enough. And now I'll connect to my server. I'll put my stuff in, and before I click connect, I'm gonna click on options and go to advanced and click on enable shadowing under session options. Okay, and then I can specify a user to shadow. So I'll put in Mike and let's see what happens. What the heck is he doing?
Mike. Look, dude.
Mike, how's it going?
Just finishing touches, my guy.
Can I see how it's looking?
Fine, dude.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this looks amazing.
Yeah, you want to kiss him, don't you?
Dude, I want to kiss him on the lips.
All right, guys, we finally finished the model. It took me about 6 hours to make. I'm super proud of it. Let's go check it out. It's been printing for the last 24 hours. It's a big print. Oh my gosh, dude. Look how good that looks. I was really worried about the teeth and the letters and the hood right here, but they all printed really well. I'm really happy with it. We have an STL for this. It's on printables. If you want to print this for yourself, the link's in the description. We'd love to see your Kokey prints. I think we should go show Chuck.
Let's do it.
Chuck, look what I got.
What the heck is this?
It's beauty.
Is this what you've been doing?
Yeah.
I hate it.
Dude, you paid me to do that.
You're getting a raise.
Yes! I need a raise!